Bumblebee, the first Transformers spin-off movie, is directed by Travis Knight, and it stars Hailee Steinfeld and John Cena, and of course Peter Cullen is the voice of Optimus Prime, and a few others. And in this review, because I'm probably the last person on YouTube to finally get to go see this movie and review it, it's been out for over a month, I'm going to be talking spoilers, so if you haven't seen this movie yet, definitely go see it. I would recommend it. There's a reason that it has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's the highest ranked on Rotten Tomatoes of the Transformers franchise, so I would recommend going to see it because I'm going to be talking spoilers in this review. I'm also going to try to keep this review short because, again, this movie's been out for over a month and I'm finally getting to see it and review it. So let's start off talking about the good. Hailee Steinfeld, cast as Charlie, the lead character. She does great. She's a great actress. She's got a great backstory. I already feel connected to her character way more in like the first 5-10 minutes of this movie, more so than I did of 3 movies of Sam Witwicky and 2 movies of Mark Wahlberg's character, Kate Yeager. There's so much more depth to her character and so much more emotion connected with her character, and that's what these Transformers movies have been missing out on, is an actual story and emotions to the characters. And I do have to say though that while Charlie is the main character in this movie, Bumblebee is also the main character in this movie, which is fantastic because all the other Transformers movies are not about the Transformers. This movie is about the titular character of Bumblebee, and it's very refreshing because he actually has character development, and I do like the fact that they give him a voice at the beginning of this movie, which I gotta just sidetrack right quick. The beginning scenes on Cybertron were incredible. I loved every single second, every short second of those scenes. That first scene, and then they come back to it later on in kind of a memory form. But it's so amazing to see Cybertron and all its like 80s style glory with all the original designs of the Transformers. That was awesome, and hearing Soundwave's real voice instead of the stupid Michael Bay voice where it was literally just a guy just talking right at the bottom of his throat. That was awful. I loved the fact that they went back to the original designs and back to the original voices. I mean, it wasn't the original voices, but it was similar to the original voices. And the designs of all the characters was incredible. Seeing all the other characters is incredible. You see, I think it was Ratchet or it was Ironhide, the original design of Ratchet and Ironhide. You see Cliffjumper in the background. You see RC. She actually has a voice. Man, that was so cool. You see Starscream, you see Shockwave, Soundwave, Ravage. There's just a bunch of other Decepticons that you see. And just hearing Bumblebee's voice, or well, at this point he's just called B-127, he is actually voiced by Dylan O'Brien. If you don't know who that is, it is the main character from the Maze Runner movies. I think his name is Theo in those movies. I don't really remember. I haven't seen the last one of those movies. But I thought he was cast perfectly. His voice sounds young enough to be hip and cool for Bumblebee. It fit the character so well. 100 times better than the voice that we hear at the end of the 2007 Transformers movie, and of course near the end of Transformers The Last Night of Bumblebee. Those were just really bad. I did not like those at all. The first one, he had like a British accent, and he was like an elderly man sounding. It didn't work for the character, and this one they did it right. Thank you, Travis Knight, or whoever cast him. I don't know if Travis Knight had a hand in picking it. I assume he did because he was the director, but the casting director of this movie did a fantastic job. And that leads me right into the action of this movie. Of course, the action on Cybertron was incredible, but all the other action scenes were shot well. You actually see what's going on. There are a few times that it bothers me how they're shooting it because, you know, Charlie the human is in peril, so they're like, let's shoot it from really far below them so it looks like the Transformers are towering above her and they're fighting around her and Bumblebee's trying to save her. That was kind of like a typical Michael Bay thing. But for the most part, it was shot nice. I like how they, you know, on Cybertron especially, they're using their guns a lot and they're firing, but they still use hand-to-hand combat, and it's cool. They move fast and it's efficient and it just looks cool. They're not doing all these fancy explosions that are just fireworks pretty much, because let's be honest, Michael Bay, he can shoot action pretty well, but his explosions, especially lately, I feel like just look like fireworks, like sparklers going off. They're not just flames. I would prefer just like CGI explosions, to be honest, like in Man of Steel. But anyway, the action was incredible in this movie, and that also leads me right into the CGI. The CGI was incredible in this movie. For being the lowest budget Transformers film, they stretched that budget out as far as they could. The CGI was, I would say it's better than any of the other Transformers movies. The Cybertron stuff did look a little cartoony, but you know, it's Cybertron. It's their planet. There's not like a physical place that they could film this stuff. I mean, they could have shot it on miniatures, I guess, but it still looked amazing. The transformations were incredible in this movie. And they didn't hide too many of them. They hid a few of them, but even some of the ones that they hid like the most part of, they weren't lazy about it. They still showed like pieces and, you know, mechanical like mechanisms just going into place. It was really cool. And I liked the villains, Shatter and Dropkick. They were way better than any other villain that we've had. They had more character development than any other character or any other villain, except for maybe Sentinel Prime in Dark of the Moon. He had some character development, and he had character in and of himself. Megatron was just always Megatron slash Galvatron. Lockdown, he was okay. But you know, Shatter and Dropkick, they were pretty fun, menacing, and cool all at the same time. And they had character development, which I enjoyed. As far as the music goes, I did enjoy the score. It seemed a little lackluster, to be honest. There were a few scenes that kind of stuck out, and it sounded very similar to the 2007 film. In particular, the Scorponok theme, when they're fighting in the desert. But the 80s music, all the tracks that they put in there, those were great. I love some of the placement of them, especially the Touch by Stan Bush. Oh my goodness, that was a great just nod to the original, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was a little short, but it still worked. I like the fact that they explain how Bumblebee lost his voice in the movie, because in the original movies, the original 5 movies, they kind of explained it like in a comic book, I think, and Megatron like rips out his voice box. I like it way better in this movie, in Bumblebee, because you actually get to hear him talk. He talks when he gets to Earth, and you know, Blitzwing, which I thought was a great character. I was hoping he would last longer. And if you didn't know, he's actually voiced by the same voice of Depth Charge from Beast Wars, David Sobolov. I thought it was great to hear his voice again. And I love that he takes his voice box out, and it was really cool. And I love how Bumblebee kills him like right then and there. That was a really cool scene. And of course, I like all the characters that they added in. There's a bunch of characters. I was actually kind of hoping that they would give a nod to Megatron. I don't know how they're gonna bring him into these movies, because at the end of this movie, they kind of lead it into the 2007 Transformers movies, but they also don't at the same time. Because at the end, you know, Bumblebee changes his form into the Camaro, and then he drives off. But he drives next to a semi-truck, a red semi-truck, that looks very similar, like 100% accurate to the 80s version of Optimus Prime, and they're just kind of riding together. It's like, is that actually Optimus Prime? Or we're going to get an Optimus Prime movie set on Earth as well, or his journey to Earth? And I mean, we are going to get an Optimus Prime movie, hopefully soon, because that would be awesome. And, you know, I gotta wonder if that's Optimus, because immediately following the first credit of the movie, it's like a mid-credit scene, but it's really, I don't know why they had to make mid-credit when I think it just takes place after, directed by Travis Knight, and then it's like back to this scene, and it shows Bumblebee and Optimus on Earth talking like, you defended Earth and good job, now our people have a fighting chance, and here they come. And it's like, this is still the 80s, right? And you know, they're on Earth clearly, but that never happened before the 2007 version. It was just Bumblebee, and then all 4 or 5 other Autobots showed up, and there's like 7 or 8 things coming to Earth. So yeah, I just gotta wonder, like, are they gonna just completely drop the 2007 version and all the other ones that followed it? If so, I'm happy about that. I would love to see that. I'd love to see more movies directed by Travis Knight or other directors that want to take on a Transformers movie. I don't want Michael Bay back in the director seat. Maybe as a producer because he's got money, but definitely not director. I want to see some other takes on these Transformers movies. And I would love to see an Edgar Wright Transformers movie because I love Baby Driver, all those driving stunts. That would be so cool to see in a Transformers movie, but we'll see. So this review has been going on for a while, sorry, but let's get to the bad really quick. I thought the parents were really annoying in this movie. The Transformers movies just have a bad rep with parents in these movies. They're not as annoying as the Witwicky parents in the first Transformers movie because they actually help in the climax of the movie. I thought the high school party stuff was, while it was pretty necessary to forward the plot, and it gave us that memorable moment of the "You've Got the Touch." That was a great scene, but I did feel like it was a little too similar to the 2007 version with, you know, the high school bullies. You know, it rubbed me the wrong way because we'd seen that before. John Cena. Not because he's just a bad actor in this movie, but because he's just given bad lines, for the most part. There are some parts that it's like, yeah, I could see that being a realistic line. Like when he's talking about, they call themselves Decepticons. He's talking about Shatter and Dropkick when they align themselves with the humans. And he's like, doesn't that raise any red flags? I actually like that because, yeah, it would. There's some other parts, you know, they kind of ruined it in the trailer where he says, no, don't run, do not run, and then she ran. It's like, that might have been funny had they not shown it in the trailer. But because they showed it in the trailer and like every trailer that they released for this movie, it just lost its touch. Also the friend or boyfriend Memo, I'm not sure why they called him Memo. I apologize if your name is Memo, I just find that a very strange name. But not that his character was completely unnecessary, but he was more annoying. His character was necessary because Charlie needed to tell him certain aspects about her story that us as an audience didn't know. So he was kind of like that catalyst for Charlie to tell him and us her backstory, which I guess was important. I just didn't like how they handled his character necessarily. He has a very few good moments, in particular the scene when, you know, Bumblebee's basically dead and he's handing the guns to Charlie to revive him. Overall, I really did enjoy this movie, and I gotta give Bumblebee an A. Obviously, I can't give it an A+. You know, there are some big negatives in it. John Cena, who plays a pivotal role, he's just annoying. The parents are really annoying. There's just some bad stuff in it. But for the most part, I thought it was a great movie. The best Transformers movie. It has great acting, a good story, good character development for the most part. The titular character has a pivotal story in the movie instead of being the Transformers and they're just the background characters. And it has emotion. It has good acting. Good visuals. It's got the makings of a great movie, and it came close. I really enjoyed this movie. This is one of those Transformers movies that I'm going to be like rushing to the store to buy as soon as it's out on Blu-ray. I hesitated when 4 and 5 came out. I actually didn't buy 4 for a long time, and after 5 came out, I think I waited like 3 months until I bought the whole set because I was just didn't like 4 or 5. I mean, 4 was okay, but 5 was just bad. And 4 wasn't even that good. But anyway, that is my review for Bumblebee. What did you guys think of this movie? Did you like it, love it, or hate it? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, I just got to remind you guys, it's been a while since I made a video, unfortunately. You know, it's hard to go see a movie. First off, I lost my job right before Christmas, so, you know, no real income on my side. And of course, we have Aubrey. She's going to be a year old in like 3 weeks. So it's hard to go see a movie when you have a baby. We do live close to family that we can take her to go hang out with them, but it's hard to justify going to spend money when you don't have much coming in. So that is my spiel about not having much content. We'll see where the next few weeks and months go. While I don't have a job now, I just had an interview yesterday, so I might actually get a job very soon. Who knows? I thought it went well. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this movie down in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you get notified of when we upload new content. It may take a while till we upload the next video, but we will upload more content in the future. So, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.